Hi, welcome to day 20 post knee below the knee amputation. So what I want to talk about today is actually something entirely different to what I've been doing during the day and all that sort of thing. I want to talk about happiness. So the reason I want to talk about this is because so many people have been saying how well I'm coping with this. How do I do it? All that sort of thing. And I thought I'd talk about that. Now, I have never chosen to lose my foot. I never chose that. This is not a favoured outcome for me. Even though I chose to have the amputation in the end, that was not my favourite outcome. I would rather have a foot, to be honest, than not have a foot. Some people have actually asked me that. No, I'd rather have a leg than not have a leg. But I chose happiness because with the foot came pain, came disability that I couldn't overcome, and I was prevented from doing lots of things that I wanted to do if I kept the foot. So I chose happiness because I chose to get rid of the foot, which got rid of the pain, which means that I can now do or will be able to do a lot more of the stuff that I have not been able to do in the past. Now, that sounds all alien and back to front, but it's actually true. So what do I mean? Well, I couldn't walk very far. Now, you might say, well, you can't walk very far now. But when I get cast for a prosthetic, I will be back to normal, pretty much, just with a foot that's not mine. But I will be able to walk further than I would have without it, with the other foot. I will be able to continue swimming, which won't change, but I'll be able to go back to cycling once I've got a leg. And I can't cycle at the moment. Well, I could, but it'd be hard work on my right leg. I could not cycle before. I had to stop cycling about 8 months ago. I actually even had to stop working about 5 months ago. Now, I've got grand designs as to what my outcome is going to be. And a lot of people have actually said to me that I'm being a little bit optimistic. Well, I don't think so, because optimism is what you've got to have. You cannot look at something like this that's happened to me with any type of pessimistic outlook whatsoever, because it will just drag you down. Life is too short to be dragged down with pessimism and woe is me and depression and all that sort of thing. Life is too short for that. I want to talk you through a strange set of decisions that I came to as well. So when I decided that I was going to tackle this with a positive attitude, I needed some goals. So you already know that I'm going to do challenge Wanaka, the swim. That's not such a grand goal because the swim is not a problem to me at all. What will be different will be that I will have to have help when I get out of the lake because I will only have one leg and not two. But other than that, the swimming, I'm not worried about whatsoever. It's not really a big goal that will take a lot of hard work. Personally, I don't think. But I have also been doing some other research. So, you might not, but I used to race triathlon and I had to stop in 2012 due to a knee injury, which then ultimately landed me with a knee replacement. When I had the knee replacement, I decided not to run anymore because I wanted to preserve it. Which is fair enough. A lot of people do decide that, but a lot of people decide to carry on running anyway. And either one is perfectly all right. And at the time, choosing to not run was perfectly all right. Then I was faced with this, and I wasn't able to bike either. I wasn't able to walk, and the only thing that really left me was swimming. So my options narrowed even more than when I had the knee problems. So that meant that I have very, very limited options as to what I could do with regards to life choices, and I couldn't work, like I said. So when I have the amputation, if I decide I'm going to preserve that leg because I had the knee replacement, I'm going to preserve this leg because, I need to make sure that nothing more happens because it's already been a disastrous journey. Well, then I end up right back where I started because I had the knee replacement to better my quality of life. I had the amputation to better my quality of life. that means that I need to do something with that, otherwise the whole lot was pointless. So I decided that I was going to have a look at multisport again. And if I wanted to race in paratriathlon, which is disabled triathlon, they are categorized according to disability and where it is and how much it impedes you. I won't bore you with the details, but I've reckoned that I'm probably an S2 paratriathlete. And I then asked what options there were for me as a paratriathlete. Now, in New Zealand, it's not a domestic sport at all, really. Any disabled athletes are just encouraged to race along with able-bodied athletes. But there is a separate level that's equivalent to age group or so, and you race against other equally disabled multisport athletes. That's not a massive thing in New Zealand, but I did ask what was going on with it, and they are in the throes of planning this. But what it would mean if I was to do that and I was to actually place myself on a race start line against people that have a similar disability, I would need to go back to running, and I would have to do a sprint triathlon. So I've gone a full circle and I've gone right back to where I started, and sprint triathlon was where I began my triathlon life. And it's what I raced at world level and European level. What I'd need to do though is change my bike, because the bike rules have changed since I last did it. Anyway, what I thought was quite ironic was that I was actually entertaining the idea of being a paratriathlete, but I was never going to run before when I had a knee replacement. But I might run now. They've chopped my leg off. And like I say, that is because I've chosen happiness. I want to live life to the fullest because life is finite. We don't live forever. And I want to be able to slide into my grave sideways saying, woohoo, what a ride, and have done everything that I possibly could have done and achieved all the goals that I want to achieve. And there's only one way I'm going to do that, and is get off my fat ass and do something about it. And so that's what I have decided to do. I have focused on all of the rehab that I've been given. I have exceeded that, and I've asked for extra. When I was discharged from the hospital and they told me that I didn't need any more physio until I got prosthetic, I argued about that and got some physio. The reason? Maybe it's because I'm not 65 or 75. I don't know what the reason is, but it's just ridiculous. But anyway, I've challenged the rules all the way along because I chose happiness, and I want to make sure that I get it, and I want to make sure that I have done everything possible to get it. And I will damn well make sure of it too, even if other people want to keep arguing with me. So that's what I mean when I say I've chosen happiness. I've chosen to have my leg amputated so I can facilitate all my goals again that I couldn't do before. Okay, my life is different. It's harder, and there's some shit days, and I can't just sleep up and walk out of here. There are difficulties. I have to acknowledge those difficulties, and I'm not saying that life is a bed of roses and I'm never unhappy. You've seen day 16, I had a little bit of a day, and they're going to happen, but you accept that, you move on, and you go back to the happiness and the smiles and all of that sort of thing. You accept the down and you go back to the up. You do not sit in the down section and just boo-hoo, because you're wasting time. The entire time I was sitting in hospital, whilst they were trying to decide what to do with me next, I was wasting time. They told me I was going to have to be in hospital 2 weeks. Well, why? I'm wasting time. At the moment, I'm feeling a bit frustrated because I was told that I have to be in a wheelchair for 3 months. Why 3 months? Because that's wasting time. I might actually get the authorization to drive tomorrow. So that doesn't make sense if I'm driving, but I can't do anything but be in a wheelchair. Anyway, so I'm going to keep on challenging the rules and challenging the goals, and I'm going to keep on challenging the boundaries, because that's the only way to be. I'm going to keep on choosing happiness because it's the only way to be. I want you to think for a second about all of the things that you can change in your life and all the things you can't. They should be in two separate places, and you should not be stressing about the things you can't. What's the point in me getting stressed and angry and boohoo about that? Because it's happened. I can't grow it back. There is a place for my anger. There are a lot of things that happened along my leg journey that should not have happened. And yes, I'm really bloody angry about it. But there's a place for that. And I'm still choosing happiness. but there's a place for the anger, and I'm going to put that in its place and use it when I need to. But it's not going to overcome me the same way as the depression is not going to overcome me, because I will beat this, and I will be back as a personal trainer. I will be the first reps registered amputee personal trainer. I will, and I will be back massaging. That might be a long way down my road, but I will do it. I don't know if there's any other amputee massage therapists out there. If there is, and you're listening to this, I want to hear from you, because I have no idea how that rehab is going to go, because nobody has ever done it before that I can find. That does not mean that I can't, and it does not mean that you can't either. So the lesson I want you to take from today is that happiness is a choice. Happiness is a choice that you can make or you can ignore. Which one are you going to choose today?